Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the June Keys Penguin Habitat. My name is Michelle. I'm joined with Kelly today, and we are attempting our second feed of the day with our penguins. Now, a lot of the penguins look like they are absolutely not interested in feeding, but let me tell you a little bit about them. We have 23 penguins on exhibit. We have our penguins pretty much in different stages of molt right now. Molt is when a penguin loses all their feathers, and what happens is they go through what's known as a catastrophic molt. So instead of like other birds where they lose one or two feathers, you end up having a bird like right there, that's Lily, and they go through what's called a catastrophic molt, where they lose all their feathers pretty much at once within about a 2 to 3 week period. During that time, the new feathers will start growing in, and what's interesting is prior to them actually starting to lose their feathers, they'll gain roughly about 1 to 2 kilos in mass to get their bodies ready to go into the molt. It's not a lot of fun, I don't think, because the penguins pretty much shut down. They're really not interested in food. They're not interested to come over to the bucket. So we just kind of allow them to be what they want to do. We have misters on to keep if they are on deck, because they do not go into the water because they're pretty much not waterproof at that moment when they're losing their feathers. So we have the misters come on, especially if it's a warm day. It's going to be in the 80s right now, so we're going to have the misters on all day for them. And but in the water right now, pretty much we have some penguins over on the far side, but right there, those are the 3 new penguins that we just added to our exhibit. We have 2 females, 1 male. One of the females already has a name. Her name is Cleo. You can tell them by their bands. Now, their bands have not been put up there yet, and it's really funny because explore.org, if you ever wanted to watch our penguins when you're not here and you just have an urge to see what our penguins at the June Keys Penguin Habitat are doing, you can actually log into explore.org and actually watch our penguins 24/7. Now, what we call our Penguinistas, they actually noticed, and we do know about the different side that the bands go on. Normally, female bands go on the right-hand side and male bands go on the left. When the person who was putting them on, they were looking at their right hand and go, okay, this is the right-hand side. So they're actually on the wrong side right now, but they will be changed back. But we do have that under control. We've figured we'll let them swim around a little bit more before we switch them. We haven't put on their name bands yet. They don't have those yet. So we know who they are. We know the bands are on the opposite side, but we're okay with it for right now. But we do have 2 females, 1 male. The colors are gray, blue are the first 2, and then let me go over it. Gray, blue, brown is Cleo, and she was actually named by Charlie Annenberg and his daughter Lily, the sponsors of explore.org. And then we have who we called our green band, which is gray, blue, red. And she is the one that you can put your name in to see if you can get chosen to have a nice little meet and greet with her. We are offering her name up to the Adopt an Animal program. So for $100 or more, you can adopt an animal. They stay here at the aquarium, though. But you can adopt the penguin, and they can you can put your name in with the rest. And at the end of this month, we're going to choose the winner who we think best kind of fits her personality. And so it's always a lot of fun, especially if you win. So this is one of the babies. They're getting used to their exhibit. They still haven't gotten the whole foothold, but they're coming up to the bucket really well. And this is gray, blue, brown. So this is Cleo, one of the females. She has a very independent personality. And here comes Admiral. Admiral he would rather be in my lap than any place else. He's coming over to say hello, especially since Cleo just came up. He doesn't want to share You're very handsome. He already went through his molt. And so you'll be able to tell the ones that have gone through their molts, the ones that are going through their molts, and the ones that are getting ready to go through their molts. So Admiral has gone through it. This is Heidi right here. Heidi is getting ready. You can start seeing that the feathers that once were a beautiful black like Admiral's are now kind of like crusty and brown. That's normal. And she's just waiting for that all to begin. And like I said, they're all in different stages. You may see them drinking salt water. That's perfectly fine. They can actually extrude the salt from their nares. Penguins out in the wild will do that. We do offer them fresh water just in case they want to. But paddles tends to like to be old school. And yeah, well, you got to come up here, Cleo. Are you hungry? Normally what I would be doing is calling out the penguins' names to Kelly, and she would be marking down who was getting what food. This is our male, Purple. Good boy. Purple got a herring. And another herring. Good job. And they were put on exhibit on Thursday. Now, what we were going to do is take them off every night for a couple of days just so they can have some alone time. But they decided they did not want to do that. They decided, I'm going to stay in the water and you're not going to take me off exhibit. So we said, okay. So we just kept an eye on them. The next day they were fine. Well, come on, Cleo. Oh, you got to come up. Look, come here. Nope. So penguins are a lot like feeding a 3-year-old. Sometimes they want to eat, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they don't like the fish that I give them, and they want a different one. That's probably not going to work for her. What about that one? There we go. So Cleo got another herring. Now you heard some of those little calls. That's the call of the youngsters. They tend to be a little bit more honky. Hi, Admiral. Whereas the adults will do more braying, a deep bray. So we also have, that was, let me, Green Band, the one who is actually up for adoption, is right in front of me. Come on. You want another? Come on. We're still getting them used to feeding from the bucket. You got to come closer. They already had a pretty good morning, so I'm not very worried. These animals get fed at least 3 times a day. They get vitamins every day because the food that we feed them is restaurant quality, but we do actually freeze it to get rid of any type of bacterial, but that does leach some of the nutrients out, so we do supplement their diets with vitamins. Now, like I was saying, we have 23 penguins. We have 3 juveniles, and these are classified as juveniles. The way you can tell the difference is a juvenile penguin does not have that distinctive double black band across the chest. They actually just have a black back and a white front, and that's great counter shading for them because for them to we want to make sure they, out in the wild, they're trying to survive that first year, which is the hardest. And so by having that great counter shading, if there's something beneath them looking up, they kind of blend in. And if something's looking down, they blend into the bottom. So that is why a lot of animals out in the wild have counter shading. Cleo's trying to have her big girl voice on. Well, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. It doesn't look like the penguins are all that hungry. The next feed will probably be around 3:30, so we hope to see you then.